Hi guys, welcome back to Barrovian Made. Today we have a bigger project than usual. I'm a little bit intimidated by it, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to learn as we go. We like to challenge ourselves on this channel. So, got a bunch of pallet wood for the pallet top, but I have got some red oak as well. I did strip down this cabinet thing that was apparently oak. So, we'll be using that to veneer over the top of this because I don't have a long enough bit to make the full bar top, and the parts that are long enough, they're very thin. So I thought I'll make the tabletop out of pallets, and then I'll put the oak on top of this to make it all look nice. So I went out, I got as many pallets as I could in my mother's car, drove around for a bit.
Oh, yeah, something I can't be good. You make me harder, make me stronger.
And just to address last week, sorry I didn't upload. A lot of things came up, and I didn't have time to record a video. But we're here now, so enjoy. Let's get cracked on with the build. So first thing, like always, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get a straight edge on all of our bits of pallet wood. I like to use the fence as a sort of a jointer because I have a nice long fence, and well, I always seem to get a straight edge when I run it straight through, so I never really have the need for any jigs. It's only when the bits of pallet wood that I have are really bent is when I really need a jig. But these slats of pallets were pretty straight to come out with anyway, so giving them a quick buzz on the table saw was all they really needed. And I have a nice long fence on the table saw, so it's all it needs. But in future, if you are trying to use your table saw as a jointer, there are plenty of YouTube videos out there that include jigs and stuff you can make, or you can get a long straight bit of wood and extend your fence, and that should do basically the same thing. And with the knowledge that we acquired from a previous video about glue myths, we're only going to pinch these up in the clamps that have an optimal glue up. While our bar top is drying up, I ran to B&Q and I got some, I don't even know what these are. I got wood. For each one of these, there are £3.87 each. Got 6 of them for £22, 30 odd pence or something. I can't remember. But we got this. While it's drying up, we're going to start making the frame that the bar top's going to sit on, and we're going to clad the frame with pallet wood. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to finish it. I don't know whether to paint it or stain it or do what with it, but we're gonna just wing it as we're going. But we're gonna get all these cut up. So let's go ahead and do that. So when I was doing this at the time, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I just thought, right, I'm just gonna do the 3 corners, the 3 posts, because this is shaped like an L. So as long as I get those 3 posts in, put some little blocks in for shelving, then hopefully I can figure out the rest. And we managed to crack on and we managed to get it done. There was a little bit of struggle here and there. I managed to stab myself with it with a screwdriver, as you'll see here. It's a shame it was on a time lapse, so you didn't get to hear and see me. We'll go around my shed, but I put a nice hole in my t-shirt and scraped my stomach. Luckily, I didn't punch in my skin, but you know, we live and learn. So when you're using a long drill bit like that, make sure the piece you are drilling into is nice and sturdy and you're not applying too much pressure down. So keep yourself safe. But getting back to the project, we are nearly done with putting these parts on. These are just going to be our little struts on either side. I'd compare them a bit like a stud wall. In my head, I was thinking of this project a bit like making a stud wall and then adding the framing around it. I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys, but it makes sense in my head. I never really have a plan in mind when I'm making these projects. I sort of just have the idea in my head. I might do a little sketch or a drawing, but I like to just get my hands dirty in the workshop and work it out for myself. And here's one of the downsides of having a small workshop. I'm really struggling to flip this around and find a way where I can screw the rest of this stuff in. So I just have to keep trying different options until I find one that works. And there we go. If I just flip it on its side, then I can glue it and screw it here. But yeah, I just spent the majority of my time just putting it on bit by bit, giving it a good look, being like, okay, where do we need our next chunk of wood to go, and playing it like that. So I'd recommend, even if you are intimidated getting into projects and stuff, best thing you can do is just crack on and get on with it and work it out as you go along. Mistakes will be made, but lessons will be learnt too, and your next project will be a lot easier. So just get yourself in the workshop, get your hands dirty, and you'll make something. I don't know if it'll be good, but you'll definitely come out with something. And I'm hoping this will be good. I've got high hopes for it so far, but this is only part one, isn't it? We'll find out in part two if it's all good. But yeah, because I didn't plan any of this, I did struggle to find room to put screws in certain areas, but we managed to get it done. So I just recommend you get in the workshop and you do it. All right, guys, the frame is done and the top is dry. Now what we got to do is got to plane the top. We got to get those oak slats and somehow veneer them on top. Now, when I say veneer, this stuff isn't like a proper veneer where it's only like a few millimeters thick. You put an iron on it and it sticks down and it's dead easy to work with. This stuff is roughly about a centimeter or so thick, and I got no idea how I'm going to do this seamlessly because I can't really clamp it like this because it will just fold and buckle, and I can't really just rely on pushing it down and hoping for the best. So I'm not sure how we're going to do this, to be completely honest with you guys. Let's just go ahead. Let's get the top surface plane down. So we at least got a flat level there to work on. And we'll try a few things to get this veneer on properly. I don't know. Let's give it a shot, guys. Another example of just getting stuck in and getting your hands dirty, not having a clue what you're doing. But we managed to get it done in the end. But I will say here, maxing out the capacity on my surface planer was an absolute headache. It kept getting jammed, and I had to take really, really light cuts. This is a pretty old, beaten up surface planer, so I imagine it hasn't got all the horsepower that it did when I first got it. But we still managed to get it all planed, and we have a nice little flat surface. And you'll notice I didn't put it on any jig or any sort of things. When I glued it all up, I made sure that all the boards were flat to the piping clamps that I have, or pipe clamps, I should say, and it was flat, so I didn't feel the need to come out and glue it down to any boards or anything, and it worked out pretty well. And here is what I was talking about before with the fence. These are a lot longer slats, and I wanted a straight edge along it, so I just got a long gnome piece of straight wood and clamped it on there, and it worked perfectly well. I got everything nice and straight, and now we're going to go ahead and we're just winging this part here. My first idea was nail it down to the table so I can have, I can put force on it without it moving around everywhere, and putting a bit of super glue on the edge and activator on the other. I'm pressing it down with my fingers. I still didn't have a clue of how I was going to apply downwards pressure so the two boards can be squeezed together, but I thought as long as I get this first part and as long as I get the veneer all stuck together on top, I can work out how I'm going to clamp it or what I'm going to put on top of it to push the oak down onto the pine. And also, I know these are two different species of wood. I'm not entirely sure how they're going to adhere to each other because I've had it in the past where certain species just doesn't accept wood glue at all. I've actually thrown out a lot of wood. I don't know what type of wood it was, but I threw out a lot of it because wood glue just wouldn't stick to it. So hopefully these two species are compatible and they glue together. Uh, but I think it'll be fine. It's oak and pine in it, so I've glued oak to pine before and it's worked fine. This is red oak, so hopefully it all works out together. Sorry, my camera died halfway through recording this, but we got everything clamped up now. As you can see, it's an absolute mess. I ran out of clamps, so what I ended up doing is getting some boards, putting a screw through them to clamp it down. I was thinking about putting some screws going upwards, but I have got a surface plane these again to make sure they're all flat, and I don't want to accidentally hit one. So, I don't know. I might put some screws in and then back them out before I go and do the planing. But right now, this is the setup I got. Hopefully everything's sitting flush and it's a strong glue up, and hopefully it can be nice and seamless. Well, as you can see here, it's not really seamless, but actually that's the part that's hanging off, so it doesn't really matter too much. But nothing a little bit of wood glue and sawdust can't fix. So that's going to be the end of this video. I really thought I'd get a lot more done in the time that I've had, but this frame and messing around with this veneer and stuff. It's taken me all day to get this veneer and stuff all done. And sorry you didn't see it all. My phone died halfway through recording, and I didn't realize, so I carried on. I only managed to get this part recorded, but the whole thing, it's all in the clamps now. We still need to do the sides of it. We still need to cut the 45-degree for the bend in the corner there. So there is a lot more work left to do, but I have 5 days off work coming up, so I will be able to get a lot done in that time. But I need to go collect some more pallets for the cladding to go around the bar and to do the shelving and stuff. There is a lot I need I need to do. This is a bigger project than I'm used to, but I think it'll be worth it, and I think it'll come out very nice. And I think this is a project you definitely want to stay tuned for. So I got high hopes for this, and I hope to see you in the next video. This is part 1. There will be a part 2, and God forbid, please don't let there be a part 3. So thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next one, and wish me luck on this build. Hang on, wait there. Let's do the cost breakdown before you go. So we spent £30.63 on wood from B&Q. Then I ran to Screwfix to get some screws and nails, totaling £9.98. So in total, that brings us to £40.94. Hopefully we can keep it under £100 for this project. But thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.